My name is Bill Mousoulis, for those of you who don't know me, and thanks for coming tonight. It's a very small audience for us, but you're here, so we'll have a good time. And thanks to the venue, good on you, Josh, and everyone else for putting these screenings on. This is like a series called Unknown Pleasures, where we basically play sort of under-recognised, underground, under everything kind of films, and we have a good time doing it. And also thank you to the traditional owners of this land who somehow allow us to live, work and play here after 250 years of abuse against them. So respects to the Wurundjeri elders and my love and solidarity with all Indigenous people. I think most people in the audience probably know Darcy personally. So this film is unusual, and I'm glad we're putting it on. Catching him as he travels through the world. And Darcy, do you want to come up and say a few words about the film? And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A with Simon Strong, who's a musician, a writer, a book publisher. He's a fantastic guy. Okay, Darcy, you want to say something?
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having us back in Melbourne, a place that I love very much, my second home, I'd like to say. This movie was made over 10 years duration. It took about 6 years to film it, and then another 4 years to complete. Came through just when I came to Melbourne, started filming about 3 days before in New Zealand, and then came here with virtually knowing nobody, and just got thrust or propelled or just thrown into the Melbourne underground life of arts and culture, and just kind of like swam through it, and the warehouse and culture of Brunswick, and then into the squat of Gad Street in Northcote, and just sort of filmed around wherever, and you'll see that all over here. And yeah, so it's a cultural artefact. Hopefully you'll see places that you recognise, and this all just goes into history. And I think one of the massive challenges of making cinema or moving image video film is it proposes to look like reality, and so we identify with it as a picture of reality, but in fact it's impressionistic, and it's expressionistic, and so it's actually kind of like looking at life through a magnifying glass in a certain respect. It's life is shrunken down onto a tiny little image, and then that has different effects in terms of its its impressionism, and then it's enlarged back up on the screen. So we might identify with the pictures and the people in that as a kind of picture of reality, and every maker relates to it in different ways, but I like to explore with mediums, and so what you'll see here is kind of like a I guess a kind of a blend of kind of like experimental like approaches to what we can do with the medium. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. It's a little bit dark, but it's a bit funny in a dry way, and no tripods were used in the making of the movie. There was a monopod. No animals were harmed. There's a couple of shocking sequences. No animals were harmed. The main actor, Shane Hollins, he was harmed a little bit in the making of the movie. And yeah, so thanks for coming, and yeah, hope you enjoy.
Fantastic, thanks for sticking it out. Wow, I watched this last night, and I watched it again on an even bigger screen tonight. What a feast for the eyes and the brain that was. I'm blown away. So I'd like to welcome Darcy down for the Q&A. Thank you. He can, tell us all about what brought him to allow us to see this visionary experience.
Yeah, well, let's keep it short. That was quite a onslaught of, as you say, imagery and sound and all that.
Especially for people to see you the first time as well.
Mate,
Keep in mind, I knew what was going to happen the whole bit with it, like thing getting his arm cut off and all that. I knew to expect that.
Yeah, I think I've seen it about 6 or 8 times myself, and every time it's a new experience. And I just realise now it's quite full on. I guess my intention is not to have not to make a boring movie. I don't want things, but I aspire to the slow cinema of what would you say, the
like Tarkovsky and Bela Tar.
Yeah, Bela Tar.
What is that? A Satan Tango? What is that? Like 16 hours long on full DVD. Fantastic. If you like that sort of thing. I made it 4 minutes into that.
Right.
But no, I don't think it really succeeded as slow cinema, mate. No disrespect. You don't always get what you want, as a great philosopher once said. And slow cinema, it just banged along there. I thought personally, both times I saw it. I thought it was like watching a James Bond film almost, without any of the colonialism or sadomasochism.
Oh, like explosions and things.
No, but it was all implied in your film, wasn't it?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of realised at some point on the trail that I'm kind of like identify with this concept of minimal maximalism.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can manifest itself in different ways, but I like the idea of slowness, but I achieved, it seems, nothing of that in this thing where it just keeps on coming at you.
Well, it's a classic thing where, but when like, if you're a bit spun out and everything seems to be happening really slow to you, it's really fast for everybody else, and the same thing likewise. It's all relative, isn't it? And I thought it was amazing how you managed to make it through 90 minutes with no like gratuitous nudity or explicit violence as well, and still hold my interest. I think that was very commendable. I don't know how other people feel about that, but I thought it was a big result because it's quite just the ideas and images. Woo! Yeah.
Right. Someone commented on all the different characters that just sort of seem to appear out of nowhere, different characters, and I mean, most of them were people that I knew who, for one reason or another, meant something to me at the time, and to the story and to the concept of that, and then characters from my imagination who I found actors to play parts. So there's a whole roll call of fascinating people in there.
Yeah, really, it really holds their own. It's like one of those great, it's a great tradition of experimental sort of cinema and underground cinema down through the ages, just getting like your mates, your good mates, and people you know a little bit, and complete blow-ins, all just come in and get in front of the lens and do it, and everybody does the thing, and then you like lose friends forever, like when you edit it afterwards. Did you lose any friends making this film, man, Darcy? Can I ask you, did anybody refuse to ever work with you again in the future, or the reverse?
No one's said that to me, to my face.
Result! That's a good result for the filmmaking community, I reckon.
I'm always open to, but I think part of the big challenge with making a film like this, of this magnitude, which takes so much time, it's a cultural creation, and it dovetails with people's actual lives, and for example in Gad Street, I'm sure that you guys kind of didn't know really what was going on, what I was doing, and how I was doing the movie, part of the movie, and it was probably just oblivious to you guys, but it was going on, and it becomes quite an insecure place to be eventually, because you don't know exactly how people regard you, and this ideas of opportunism. Are you taking advantage of people? but I like to feel that I've generated something that's reasonably good, and no one's come at me with an axe or anything. So
Yeah. Well, anyway, people, come on down. You got more to say about it. Do you want to come on down, or do you want to yell and I'll repeat it? Whatever you want.
Was there a connection between the guy with the shaved head and the guy, the other guy, the big guy?
I have serious prosopagnosia, as everybody will tell you, face blindness, so I couldn't tell who any of the characters were, apart from the main bloke. But yeah, that guy.
The main character.
Yeah.
right, the connection was, I guess, in conventional storytelling, we have like the protagonist and the anti-protagonist, the rival. So I kind of set it up as that kind of thing.
That drops the penny for me, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See.
Lovely. I thought they were going to be.
And yeah, please, more questions from the audience. Let's all bring it on. Yeah, next. Next.
I'm curious about just the guy at the very end, and he's just painted as an elephant. I'm like wondering, I mean, I've got my ideas about why he did that, but I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think goes painted?
Did you say furious or curious?
Curious.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Okay, great. Yeah, well, I guess it's kind of like a moralistic stance I took on that. He sort of, it's such a divisive kind of narrative that he spiels to us. He appears to be a drunkard in the alleyway, but he's also proclaiming words of wisdom. So we're never quite sure exactly, what's going on necessarily. In the end, he seems to be a painted elephant in a circus. And it's kind of like I saw it, and it's really interesting because Shane contributed a lot to the character development. Shane's the main actor, who's a poet, and he contributed a lot of himself to this. And I always got the sense that we kind of we're telling our own stories through the making of the film. He had his own thing going on in his mind, and so there was this sense of rivalry, and we've maintained a friendship over 20 years, but we've gone through some really hard patches. My stance on it was that he kind of he did some really bad things in the movie, and that was...
Like what?
Well, chopped an arm off an axolotl.
Oh, was that real?
No.
Oh,
No.
Feature.
He refused men into his little chamber and only accepted women. Pretty dodgy. And so it was kind of like a moralistic kind of thing. I think by the end, just some symbolic token that he kind of just became this kind of like statue figure at the end, which he wasn't allowed to say anything. He was just shut up there. Yeah.
I did love the ending of the film actually, and watching it the second time. The first time I thought it was a reference to Apocalypse Now almost, and Colonel Kurtz maybe, or I couldn't figure out the whole panoply or problem. But while watching it a second time, I noticed that right at the very end there's two Rasta dudes that walk up at the very end to approach him. And for me personally, that resonated very, 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 very heavily.
I thought, actually, as I saw that happen, I thought of you, because I've only just met you, and you've introduced me to your colour, your theology and things. I totally saw that.
But I tell you what, I mean, I already loved the movie, but any movie that plays up with
it's little things like that, little symbologies like that. It's like a voice of reason, or just like a normalcy appears. And I think in terms of symbols, and it's loaded with things that I have meaning, which most people are just not going to come across. But such as the mind of a kind of like OCD, ADD movie maker, really, isn't it?
No, questions?
How much did you veer off the original script, and how much was ad lib?
It was actually really well scripted. to start with. Yeah. The main actors, they wanted to ad-lib, but more or less I let them do it, but then they quickly realised, and I told them that it probably wouldn't work, and they quickly realised that it wouldn't work, because people do like to believe that they like to think they're quite good at making dialogues and things like this. So yeah, I reined them into a kind of formalistic, and I did have issues with that, because it's quite a kind of didactic kind of delivery of lines, but it definitely beats people thinking they're good at ad-libbing and not. So, but yeah, it was pretty well scripted. Yeah.
Any more questions? Or deeply.
I'm just wondering how the creative fund at New Zealand got on board.
Okay. I applied for funding right the way through our New Zealand, Creative New Zealand and Film Commission, and Creative New Zealand has supported me a couple of times in the past in music endeavours and experimental like art installation kind of things. They supported in the end a few $1,000s to part composition for music composition of the film. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Which we recorded, and we ended up not using anything of it, but yeah.
Yeah, at the back.
Thank you. There's a character that I noticed, the filming guy.
Yeah.
Was that like a representation of you?
Oh, hang about.
Like
I
that
kind of felt like it was kind of...
There's a brief shot of the camcorder at the critical part.
Camcorder?
Yeah. It was a bit of a Goddard sort of reference, I guess.
Goddard is a great reference, actually, in a couple of ways. Seems to inform me. But the camera go at what point? Sorry, I'm not
so
sure.
it was when basically the ship had just been put in the water, and then there was that nice like scene of it on the water at the sunset, and then straight after that cut to like the chick was interviewing some guy with a camera.
Oh right, yeah. That was in Melbourne. His name was Simon. He came in as a random, and we filmed in a random apartment on Lygon Street. That was kind of like a self.
So it was kind of like you,
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's how I learned filmmaking. Is I just got a camera and I just started filming stuff.
Yeah.
What was your favourite Jean-Luc Godard film, Darcy?
I'm not really.
So, I had to put you on the spot here.
No, I'm not an aficionado of any particular school or anything.
No, cool.
But I did
Even
find
better.
that Goddard informed that movie when I had to explain to Shane, who's a poet who takes his work seriously, as any good artist should. All you need to make a movie is a girl and a gun.
Yeah, that's bullshit. A girl, you just need a girl, really. Ask Jeff Franco about that.
But the cinema is such in a sense, such a facile medium. It's about action and pictures and sounds going off. And sex and glamour and stuff like this, objectification, glamorization. And these are the problems that we have to sort of contemplate.
There's also ideas.
What's this?
There's ideas occasionally. Like an idea, somebody like yourself might seem to put an idea into a film. That does happen occasionally.
Yeah, so I put a gun in the movie. We had a gun, and then so now I'm making a second film called Complex. It'll be coming out in 2028. And so.
I starred it. I've always wanted to be an actor.
Okay, great. Yep, sign up here. I'll take you to all sorts of places. But the thing is, it's called Complex, and it's about being held hostage in India by con artists, which is a true story, my own true story. And so I decided to make a movie about it because it's enlightening in as much as it tells you the psychology of the con artists, which is the broader topic of fraud, which is absolutely the most largest crime in the world, and it manifests itself in all of our lives through scams, you know, online, offline, on the street, all over the place, politicians, blah, blah, blah. It's just, yeah. So, yeah, so it's become complex now as the new movie. I've got to edit it, I've shot it in India, and just waiting. It's going to be a mixture of serious, because it is fraud, and it involves the hostage of me, essentially, in India for 10 days, which was a little bit traumatic, but it's also going to be hilarious. So, well, yeah, I intend it to be hilarious. The story is quite funny. So, yeah, so that's the next one. And then, so, because I just think in kind of like, how do you say, when you're like ambitious, or, you know, you just want to do something with your life, you know?
Voracious.
Right?
Voracious.
Yeah. So I've announced a trilogy, right? So now I'm studying fraud, right? So you've got GODPLEX, which is about a fraudulent cult leader, religion leader. Complex, which is about the con artists in reality. And then Transplex is my the third in the trilogy, all right? And I don't know what it's going to be about, Transplex, yet. I've just made it up.
Yeah, right. All power to the imagination. Thanks, Darcy. What's how are we going for time, Bill?
You can have another 5 minutes.
Another 5 minutes. Last orders. Anybody? Any last questions? Anything anybody wants to hear? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About Shane's working in the film. Now that is an amazing performance. I mean, that's of like Klaus Kinski, sort of, and sometimes you meet people, you know, and you have pals, and you think, I need to make a film just to put this bloke in it. You know, sometimes, whether you're a filmmaker or not, you might just decide, just because you know, this guy needs to be in a film. Bill probably understands about this. But did you feel that about Shane? Because that kind of comes over in the film. You can kind of see the...
Yeah, well, he when I was doing music touring in New Zealand, which I still am doing music touring, he came on as our roadie poet. Yeah, we just became friends, and then I just wanted to make a feature movie, because I believe that's the kind of like the zenith achievement of a movie maker. And I said, dude, you could be the guy, you know, and he was like, oh, you know, but, you know, he kind of like liked it at the same time, you know, so, and he was gracious enough to leave it to me to meld, you know, to meld them into the character and blah, and yeah. So.
It was an amazing performance, and it was an amazing meeting of talents, and I look forward to how you might work with other people in the future, or again with Shane.
Yeah.
If that happens.
Oh I brought him here, and we shot over here. He's just come. He was near dead in the last couple of weeks in hospital. He's suffering from ill health. He's had a hard life, and he's actually a hunchback. So his you know, ankylosing spondylitis. He's starting to fuse, and he's broken his back in all sorts of manner of ways. So he's only just, but at the same time, he's very he's not afraid of dying. You know, he's a generous spirit, and no, he did well. And the other thing, just to tie up on the Goddard thing, was. Goddard said cinema is the most beautiful fraud. So that ties into this whole idea of, you know, studying fraud, and that's basically what we're doing, is creating illusions. And we're just trying to do it in interesting ways. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want truth, go with the music every time. It's not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Darcy.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Big. Thank you, everybody at Thornbury Picture House and Unwon Pleasures. We'll bring you more underground cinema gems from the future in the future itself. Rock and roll. Thank you.
Cheers, Simon.